This is the intro song. This is the intro song. This is the intro song. Boo, boo, boo. This is the intro song. This is the intro song. This is the intro song. I'm right behind you.
Hello and welcome to the jungle. Sorry if I surprised you. I'm not actually a real tree. I'm your host of Eagle Eye TV's In the Jungle. Happy Halloween. This is going to be our spookiest episode yet. Sort of. But before we get too carried away, I'd like to welcome someone back into the studio. Hey Devin, come here. It's time for You Can't Make This Stuff Up.
Oh snap, let's not make stuff up.
Last week marked the 60th anniversary of the arrest of the Giggling Granny serial killer. From 1920 to 1953, Oklahoma native quietly poisoned and killed her mother, 2 sisters, 2 daughters, a nephew, a grandson, and 4 husbands. After failing to kill her 4th husband the first time, she tried again, this time succeeding after pumping him full of enough arsenic to kill 11 horses. The doctor working on his case grew suspicious and ordered an autopsy, which of course showed the massive amounts of poison in his blood. While being interrogated by the police, she giggled the entire time and willfully went off to prison like any normal crazy person would do. She later admitted that she didn't even feel guilty about it, confirming any suspicions you might have had coming from people from Oklahoma.
Frankly, Devin, people from Oklahoma scare the heck out of me.
I have to agree.
But the weirdest part about all of that was that the story never said which of her family members she decided to kill. It just seemed pretty arbitrary. I thought that was interesting.
Yes, that is quite interesting.
I would have to imagine that maybe she would make them tea and tell funny stories, maybe hilarious jokes. Do you have any hilarious jokes, Drew?
Well, being from Texas, I try and avoid Oklahoma at all costs.
That's a hilarious joke.
Thank you. Also coming from Oklahoma, but a bit more recently, a man named Johnny Mullins is causing a bit of a stir after putting a dead body away in his driveway for Halloween. The body was so convincing that several neighbors called the police, and while he wasn't doing anything illegal, he certainly freaked out his neighbors. Being that kind of neighbor, Mullins decided to add a second, more bloody body to his driveway, this time under his car. When asked why he continues to spite his neighborhood, Mullins only said, "Come on now, guys."
Well, it looks like Oklahoma is just a scary place to be.
Right. That I agree.
I think what's crazy about that one is that he didn't ever specify if the bodies were real dead bodies or fake dead bodies. So I feel like that's the scariest part of that story. What do you think, Drew?
Sí, a mí también.
All right. This next story comes from, you guessed it, Oklahoma. Vishal Thakar, a 35-year-old Tulsa man, was unhappy with the shape of his nose. So, doing the Oklahoma thing, he sought out plastic surgery to fix his whole facial situation. The doctors continued to take more and more and more and more off his nose throughout 20 separate procedures that eventually left Thakar without any nose whatsoever. His makeshift nose ended up including a bunch of cartilage from his ear, rib cage, gluteus maximus, and some metal implants. Now, as messed up as this story is, the real tragedy is why anyone would purposefully live in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, Devin, I think the answer to that question, nobody knows.
That was a pretty obvious pun, so I'm going to go ahead and award it 0 noses out of 5.
Rate that pun.
You
What
wait
the heck,
your
man?
turn.
Get out of here, intern.
We'll get to you.
Goodness. Well, that's it for You Can't Make This Stuff Up. Keep watching the rest of In the Jungle for more crazy Halloween things. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Learning to play the ukulele in public. Don't be that guy.
Seeing things running through your head. Who can you call? Ghostbusters! An invisible man sleeping in your bed. Oh, who you gonna call?
She says, "You're not funny, I'm leaving."
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Welcome back to Rate That Pun. Seriously, what's a guy got to do to get some confetti to fall on him? Huh. Hey guys, welcome to Rate That Pun, where we rate the best and worst puns of the week. I'm Carter Pollock, and if you're wondering what I'm dressed as, so am I. Our first pun of the night: what's a vampire's favorite ice cream? Vanilla. That pun gets 6 points for being about Halloween, but loses 2 for slant rhyme. If you're still in need of a Halloween costume, I suggest looking at one of downtown Auburn's famous boutiques. That one was a weak one, so I'm only going to give it 3 points out of 10. News came in out of Texas this evening that a man was found dead, submerged in his bathtub. The tub was filled with milk, cereal, and a large spoon. Police suspect that they may be on the hunt for a serial killer. If you ask me, that's a killer pun, and I award it 5 star-shaped Lucky Charms. Our next pun: why didn't the skeleton go to the party? 'Cause he had nobody to go with. That pun only gets 1 phalange up, because the content is great, but it makes me sad about my own life. In other news, Megan, please call me back. If you actually do have friends and go to a crazy party this weekend, be sure not to kiss a vampire. I hear it's a real pain in the neck. That pun would normally get 7 points, but Hollywood has taught us that vampires make everything better, so I'll go ahead and award it a healthy 9 points. Our final Halloween pun: what was the baseball player's favorite candy? A Babe Ruth. That pun gets a ground roll double for inaccuracy because, as we all know, a baseball player's real favorite candy is steroids. That's all for Rate That Pun. I'm Carter Pollock.
And now, What Mashes My Grapes with Drew Parsley.
Welcome back. For tonight's What Mashes My Grapes segment, we're actually going to do a little more Halloween themed. So tonight we're doing What Smashes My Pumpkins. And speaking of smashing pumpkins, what smashes my pumpkins is the band Smashing Pumpkins, because not a single one of their songs is about smashing pumpkins. What kind of well-meaning band and self-respecting band calls themselves the Smashing Pumpkins and not mentioning it once in any of their discography, which means their songs, I assume? So what's the deal? Why? They're just some random punk band. Might as well be Blink-182, who calls themselves Smashing Pumpkins and doesn't even, it'd be like if Blink-182 didn't even blink. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's what smashes my pumpkins on Halloween.
Shenanigans. Pin that.
Hello and welcome to a Halloween-themed episode of Shenanigans. I'm Shannon Smith, and today, as you can see, I have this pumpkin. I'm going to carve it. Now, I looked on Pinterest for some ideas, and there were some really impressive ones where people whittled designs into the skin of the pumpkin. There were pumpkins eating other pumpkins. There were pumpkins that didn't even look like pumpkins anymore. But shenanigans on all of those really artistic people, I know I can't do that. So I'm just going to try to make this pumpkin as scary as it possibly can be without spending hours and hours on some artistic project that I can't really do. Me, you, no one can really do those things. They're probably all made up anyway. So let's get started. Now before anything else, you gotta draw a circle on the top and cut it out. That circle is beautiful. I don't know if I trust myself with this knife. This is a great stress reliever. Check out the nice insides of this pumpkin. I have to take the insides out and I'm gonna put them in this football. That's it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna reach inside. that look clean enough? I think so. Yeah. Oh, the seeds. Cats are scary. Let's make this pumpkin a cat. I don't want to do that. Cats have ears. That's one complete. That definitely kind of looks like a cat. Oh, I did it! Let's put this inside. Meow. Now we just need to test and see if it works. Ooh, it's a cat-o'-lantern. Well, my cat definitely looks like this one on Pinterest. Well, shenanigans on my artistic ability, but now I have a cat-o'-lantern. I'll see you next time on Shenanigans for another Pinterest project. Meow.
Something strange in your neighborhood.
No, yeah. Yeah, it's just grab a costume.
Wait, where do I have to go?
We're just gonna...
Connection, but more like a.
Cool. So,
I ain't free.
so yeah, just kind of grab a costume if you want.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Yeah. So if you just want to like grab that hand and just get through the
See waves running through your head. Can you An invisible man. Ow, who you gonna call?
Well, that'll about do it for this week's Halloween edition of In the Jungle. This has been our spookiest and probably most ridiculous episode yet.
Most costume filled.
Definitely most costume filled. So the big mystery is
Will you
who's-
be back next week?
I don't know.
That's
That's
the
going to be the
mystery.
big Halloween mystery. So if you can solve it, hit us up on our Facebook page. Picture, where's the picture, Drew?
Above.
Above. Right there.
Yep.
So hit us up on that Facebook page right there, and we will make sure to answer your question as to whether or not I'm going to be on the show next week.
Right. We thank you for joining us, and as always, have a great Halloween, San Diego.
I'm gonna watch you when you sleep.
Mullet Vader!
I came in like a wrecking ball.
That's all for Rate That Pun. I'm Carter Pollock. Seriously, guys?